that you are definitely part of as our dear viewer. Well, of course, that said, you get to realize that this entire week has been filled up with lots of news within the country and out of it, and that is where we shall be starting off with the team that I have with me this morning. But that said, speaking of news that has been making headlines away from Uganda, besides the upcoming US elections in Mozambique, Frelimo for 49 years continues to be at the helm of leadership within that same country. And since 1975, the new president, that is Daniel Chapo, interestingly, is going to become Mozambique's first president born after their independence. And of course, after the elections that many saw as elections that were marred with a bit of violence, ended with him named as the president. That is Daniel Chapo. Now, meaning he's going to become the first president born after independence. You can easily see how far the independence generation or the post-independence generation of Mozambique has come from. But that said, this entire week here in Uganda also saw a list moving online. That is the gentleman in Daniel Chapo, who is the new president of Mozambique, and he belongs to the ruling party of Frelimo, and he's replacing Filipe Nyusi, who served for 2 terms. Now, Chapo is actually 75, who gained 71% of that same particular vote. But coming back to Uganda, this very week there was a list that was moving online showing quite a number of candidates, or showing quite a number of applicants who are vying for the role of executive director. And amongst many, there are actually some names that were appearing 4 times, meaning they applied as many times as they could. And of course, we are yet to get more information regarding, or official information regarding the appointing authority relating to the same, whether it's the right list of those who applied or vying, or who are vying for the same. But yesterday in Parliament, the contentious National Coffee Amendment Bill 2024 again did not get to be passed, because after just 40 minutes of a standstill during plenary, and of course there was a lot of discussions within Parliament as business came to a standstill for about 40 minutes in there. And of course the Speaker, who in turn called for a vote by division, so the House voting with 159 voting yes, while 77 voted against before the sitting was adjourned. And of course, it has sparked off various conversations on social media in regards to the protection of coffee farmers and those engaged in the coffee value chain. But of course, that and more stories have been making headlines throughout the week, including one to do with the traffic officers who are likely to be heading to Parliament Police anytime soon. But that said, let me turn to Chirabo, Robert Nyonyintono, and Olive Monica Najuma, who are in Studio B, to see how their week has been and how or what stories really stood out for them and how prepared they are for the weekend ahead. I'll start off with Olive Monica Najuma. Good morning, Olive. How are you doing this Friday?
Well, good morning, Jerome, and how are you today?
I am okay.
Well, you know, Jerome, normally when you walk into a cafe and there is coffee brewing, the aroma invites you in. Even if you do not take coffee, you feel like this scent is inviting me in. I should be a part of this, right? Mm-hmm. Now, that's not what we saw in Parliament. Seems like coffee actually spilled into Parliament, and there was a standoff where, as there was, you know, on the floor of Parliament, they were discussing rationalizing the Uganda Coffee Development Authority and make it part of, dissolve it into the Ministry of Agriculture. Now, members of Parliament, like you've said, some voted for and others against. Now, I would like to focus on those that voted against. Some of them, members of Parliament, asked, why are you afraid of making people rich? Now, these are members of Parliament from coffee growing areas. And so, like the member of Parliament from Mbale, she said, the people of Mbale depend on coffee. And for them, the worry is that if the Coffee Development Authority is dissolved into the Ministry of Agriculture, it might mirror what happened to vanilla and tea, because according to them, the Ministry of Agriculture has failed to handle these produces, the coffee and the vanilla, and we cannot really see how they are faring as far as committing and contributing to the country's GDP is concerned. So that's where the members of parliament were coming from. And I wouldn't say they are wrong, because in as much as rationalization of government agencies is okay, it also shows that some agencies are supposed to stay alone. They're supposed to stand alone for them to be able to work effectively. And the leader of opposition put the Speaker of Parliament and the movers of this bill to the test and asked them, show us at least 2 crops that have been handled by the Ministry of Agriculture and they are doing well. Then we will have the comfort to vote for the Uganda Coffee Development Authority to be dissolved into the Ministry of Agriculture. But then there was a standoff, and the Speaker unfortunately had to call off Parliament. So that was an event that stood out. I mean, what a way to close the week.
Well, indeed. And of course, what an event to close the week in the same spirit. But that said, before I check in on Uncle Bob this Friday, more updates coming in from Israel show that Israel has killed 3 journalists in South Lebanon with a new massacre in Gaza. So it is a new development coming in from there, and we shall be giving you more updates that are following up with the same. But that said, Uncle Bob, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. I had a lovely Thursday. That was yesterday. I had some good time, and it was merrymaking. My only sister introduced to her some man, so I wish them all the best, because I know they are watching this early morning.
Why don't you put it right? I gave my sister.
No, I didn't give my sister.
I want you the muko.
Yes, but I told him, and I was very clear. I said, she have introduced me to you. I have not given you.
So when will you give?
Because
you're supposed to give her away.
I don't give away my sister. No, you just take stewardship of her, but I don't give you my only sister. I don't give away my sister. That's why even there is nothing that we asked for. People that give away their daughters, they call them muko, they tell him what they want, what they will bring. We didn't do that. So we didn't give away. He's just keeping her on our behalf.
Okay.
Yes. Now, going back to what happened in Parliament, 2 things I want to speak of. When you're discussing them, you have to be very, very serious, because you're dealing with people's livelihood. And don't get me wrong here. If you're discussing anything to do with cows and this is people's livelihood. That is why you've seen a number of bills. You have the Dairy Corporation Authority. Cows, that is because some feed on these cows, educate their children on these cows. Now, if you're discussing coffee, this is people's lives. You're dealing with the education of their children. You're dealing with everything they dream of rotates around coffee. Now, I want to go into what happened to Parliament, but I'll just say, let's be nationalistic. Let's be patriotic. Those coffee beans you see are a life of people. Uganda Coffee Development Authority has performed beyond expectations. If you look at the last 12 months, we've been able to sell 6.8 million bags. If you look at crops that are leading in our export, coffee, and it's doing better. Now, rationalization is very good, because we need to control government expenditure for us to have more development investment. But also we should be very careful not to sit on a baby that is proven steady growth all the time when we talk about this merger. And when I see members in coffee growing areas or constituencies, this is the first time I saw MPs who have never spoken a word come up, and with the pain, because some you'd even see them struggle with the language, but to prove a point.
That's right.
That you would see how emotional they were. And like I said, even if you are handling the other animal I've talked about, because these understand their people, because their people will ask them, where were you? Coffee is a livelihood, cows are livelihood for people. So when we are discussing this, before anything else, let's know, has Uganda Coffee Development Authority done great? A special unit, I think, is very much better than a department under a big thing. More so when it has proven success. We don't have problem for merging a number of things, but there are those that we can say, Ministry of Agriculture has done what it can do, and we commend it to a certain extent. Maybe because agriculture is very big, sometimes whatever they do looks like a drip or a drop in the ocean. But when it comes to coffee, we pray that we put Uganda
and
first.
Also, Robert,
and the farmers.
one would wonder, why are we rationalizing these government agencies? For some, they have not been making any money. They have actually been contributing to double expenditure. But now if we have an authority
and others, the reason has been duplication of work.
Duplication of work,
so,
thank you.
Duplication of work, and at the end of the day, government is spending so much on this. So that's why the measure is.
Yes, but now you have an authority that has proven over time that they can't do the job. They are bringing in a lot of foreign exchange for the country through exports, okay? So if they are working very well, I think some of these agencies can be given the reprieve not to be merged. Then the ones that have been really just parasites, if for lack of a better word, just taking from the government, then those ones can be merged.
And well, of course, it comes in context with the fact that the Ministry of Agriculture is having quite a number of agencies that work under it. But not only that, you also look at the fact that it's a wide kind of sector, which would really need the UCDA to be operating on its own. But of course, we wait for the debate that will be continuing, and we shall be giving you the updates of the same. But now, that said, we now focus our attention onto what has been making headlines within the country and out of it.
And we'll begin with President Yoweri Museveni, who has emphasized the importance of Swahili language as a tool for national unity and urged Ugandans to embrace the language as a bridging factor that connects diverse culture and backgrounds. The president made the remarks during the inaugural graduation ceremony of the first intake of the Kiswahili card at Chambogo University playgrounds. In a nation rich in tribal and cultural diversity, a common language that transcends tribal boundaries is crucial to facilitate communication and represent inclusivity. These were the words of the president that dominated his speech. The first Deputy Prime Minister, Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, said Kiswahili adoption is a bold step towards unity, collaboration, and strengthening ties with the wider East African community. This will act as a tool of regional integration. The first intake of Kiswahili cadre graduation saw 350 graduates complete their training in basic Kiswahili skills speaking, and also ensured that they go on spreading the promotion of the language. In collaboration with United Media Consultancy and trainer Umkat School of Journalism, will spread the teaching of the language in Kampala and other parts of the country as an award-winning institution. Moving on, Dr. Tang Odoi, the chairperson of the NRM Electoral Commission, has granted supporters in Chisoro district that the party is committed to ensuring peaceful primaries for the woman MP by-election. Speaking at party offices in Kisoro municipality yesterday, Odoi emphasized that security teams have already identified potential hotspots and strategies are in place to address any disruption. Ahead of the voting, a mini baraza will be held to finalize voter verification that will be concluded by 10:30. With the voting commencing at 11, in all villages across Kisoro. Tanga Odoi mentioned that each candidate is required to have 2 agents to each polling station, one responsible for displaying the candidate's poster and the other for overseeing vote counting. The NRM Electoral Commission staff from all sub-counties received training to enhance efficiency during the process. Odoi cautioned candidates against inciting violence, stressing the importance of maintaining peace as they prepare for the upcoming general election. Kigezi Region Police spokesperson Eddie Mate confirmed that security personnel have been adequately deployed to ensure a smooth election process. The NRM candidates vying for the woman member flag in Kisoro district by-elections include Akifesa Grace Ngabirano, Mbonye Helen, Igiraneza Wilfred, Faith Irukunda Jamaima, Rose Kabagenyi, Kitentera Blessed, Irene Mahire, and Nirere Fancy Brenda. The World Health Organization has identified funds to support Uganda in the fight against monkeypox. World Health Deputy Executive Director in charge of health emergencies, Dr. Chikwi Ikwechua, is in the country to assess mpox outbreaks so that they can respond to the pandemic. Dr. Chikwi yesterday paid a courtesy call to the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Anabanja. Uganda first detected a case of mpox on the 24th of July 2024, allegedly imported from the DRC. 3 months after the outbreak, 164 cases and 1 death have been confirmed. The Prime Minister Robin Anabanja said the outbreak has affected Uganda's tourism sector. But as the country grapples with monkeypox epidemic, the World Health Organization has set up funds to support Uganda in the fight against mpox. And finally, from the local scene, Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board and Ministry of Education and Sports have released the 2024 July to August examinations. The board administered these exams to 1,926 registered candidates from 45 assessments. All through, the overall enrollment of these continues to increase in the court-registered below numbers because trainees witnessed staggered admission in 2022 and 2023 after the COVID-19 pandemic. While releasing the results, the Minister for Education and Sport, Janet Museveni, expressed the need to have skilled trainers in technical institutions in addition to basic infrastructure and equipment. The results indicate that out of the 1,962 candidates that sat for the examinations, 1,562, representing 82%, successfully completed the program and have attained the required competency and will join the world of work. However, 340, that is 18% of the candidates who did not acquire all competencies are required to perfect when the examinations will be next offered. The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, said, although Uganda's education system still has options of community polytechnics and technical schools for those who have completed primary 7, this level of TVET should not be a goal of attainment for the trainee. The chairperson, Board UBTEP, Dr. Engineer Silva Mugisha, requested the Ministry of Education and Sports to prioritize the development of TVET qualifications framework.
Well, moving on with international news, U.S. President Joe Biden will formally apologize to the Native American community for atrocities of a 150-year Indian boarding section policy that aimed to culturally assimilate indigenous children. The U.S. president is scheduled to issue the apology from Arizona on Friday. I'm heading to do something that should have been done a long time ago. Make a formal apology to the Indian nations for the way we treated their children for so many years, Biden told reporters on Thursday. The federal government established Indian boarding schools from 1819 through the 1970s that forcibly removed children from their homes and families. The boarding section stripped indigenous children of their heritage and tried to assimilate Alaska Native, American Indian, and Native Hawaiian children into white American culture. There were more than 523 government-funded Indian boarding schools throughout the United States in the 19th and 20th centuries. Many of these schools were run by churches. Tens of thousands of children were forcibly abducted by the government and sent to schools far from their homes. Indigenous children often faced emotional and physical abuse, including being beaten and starved when speaking their native languages. Now moving on to Canada. Canada has announced it will slash immigration for the first time in years, a major policy shift for the Liberal government as it tries to reverse its unpopularity and remain in power. From 2025 to 2027, Canada will bring in a total of 1.1 million new permanent residents, a 21% drop from previous years, the government announced on Thursday. The number of temporary residents, meanwhile, will also decrease by about 30,000 to 300,000 in 2025, this according to Immigration Minister Mark Miller. The government said the plan will pause population growth in the short term to achieve well-managed sustainable growth in the long term. The new immigration targets represent a break from the COVID-19 pandemic era when the government eased restrictions on temporary residents to fill labor shortages. Last year, Canada had planned to bring in 500,000 new permanent residents in 2025 and the same amount in 2026. As of the second quarter of 2024, there were 2.8 million temporary residents, including workers and students in Canada, according to Statistics Canada. Now lastly, on the African continent, Mozambique's ruling party, Frelimo, has won the country's divisive, violence-marred election, extending its 49-year grip on power in the southern African nation, according to official results. Daniel Chapo, Frelimo's relatively unknown presidential candidate seen as an agent of change, will replace Felipe Nyusi, who has served 2 terms. At 47, Chapo, who gained 71% of the vote, will be the first president born after independence in 1975. His closest challenger, Venancio Mondlane, got 20% of the vote. Chapo said in his victory speech, and I quote, "We remained silent all this time for respecting the law. We are an organized party that prepares its victories," end quote. Following the announcement of the result, there have been violent protests in several towns and a number of people have been killed. There is also heavy police presence in some areas. Well, with that, we come to the end of our international news.
And well, interestingly, today in the New Vision, you get to find out who are the best performing hospitals, or what are the best performing hospitals, because the best and worst hospitals have been named. Lira, Soroti beat other districts. In what capacity? Read about that. And there's a table here for the highest and lowest ranked hospitals, and then their score in percentages. Find out whether your favorite hospital is on the side of the highest ranked or the lowest ranked, and maybe look out for options. Now, Alupo in Samoa for Choga, the Vice President, Major Retired Jessica Alupo, interacting with Britain Queen Camilla during the Women's Forum on the sidelines. The Women's Forum on the sidelines of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting that is in Samoa yesterday. The pictorial is at the front page of the New Vision. Now, President Museveni passes out 300 Kiswahili learners. More of that report is in the New Vision. Also, ex-Minister Musumba jailed over 160 million shillings debt. And worry as chimps eat virus-infected bat droppings. That report is in the New Vision. Also, Uganda joins BRICS, what it means. Find it within the New Vision. Now, Ireland, Uganda pull out is also inside today in the cover of the New Vision. Now, the Daily Monitor is giving you a different one. Dying without a written will, disposal of deceased property. What happens if one dies without writing a will, a legal document directing how the deceased estate should be managed? This is a frequently asked questions. We explore the legal possibilities now. Also, the Daily Monitor gives you the leading causes of death in Uganda, pictorial, and of how many Ugandans are found have lost lives. And then 30 years of Irish-Ugandan cooperation in the supplement today. And also in the other news, Chigogwa tanker inferno survivors narrate the ordeal as tempers flare as members of parliament vote on the coffee bill. Now in the Scoop magazine, acidic vocals, Busoga's latest export. The vocal king shares and narrates his journey to the top. Then away from that, we head to Kenya, the Daily Nation. Ruto, the Adani deal's good for you as 95 billion shillings defense deal between Adani Energies and Ketraco will cut power costs, according to the president. Now, while Gachagua wants judges to quit the case. Also, how Wells Fango boss walked into death trap. Now, also, there's a report regarding East Layer killings, the last moments of mother, daughter, and the niece. And that is something that you can find out in the Daily Nation in Kenya. Well, now that said, please do note this is a Friday edition of Good Morning Uganda, and we will be having more of the bit of the entertainment coming along in the second hour. But after that, we shall be having a newsreel, and we'll be joined by Buka Chimney, Buka, who is also a musician and also someone who will be sharing his journey in regards to upbeating mental health struggles. And then Josephine Pob, a musician, will also be performing, and we shall as well be having an exclusive interview with Miriam Namaganda on her upcoming concert. But now that said, a week ago in Nigeria, the office of the president warned the Nigerians from calling President Tinubu T-Pain, an analogy that many Nigerians were using rather wrongfully. Just like many would say, as you cannot bring T-Pain's lyrics into the boardroom, so you cannot mix the two, as many of the political analysts were referring. But our song of the day, though, is coming in from T-Pain and Maino. The song is All the Above. And if at all you want to go above, this might be an inspiration for you. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala.
The sitting was
This
adjourned,
is
and of
Good
course it
Morning
has sparked off various conversations on social media in regards to the protection of coffee farmers and those engaged in the coffee value chain. But of course, that and more stories have been making headlines throughout the week, including one to do with the traffic officers who are likely to be heading to Parliament Police anytime soon. But that said, let me turn to Chirabo, Robert Nyonyintono, and Olive Monica Najuma, who are in Studio B, to see how their week has been and how or what stories really stood out for them and how prepared they are for the weekend ahead. I'll start off with Olive Monica Najuma. Good morning, Olive. How are you doing this Friday?
Well, good morning, Jerome, and how are you today?
I am okay.
Well, you know, Jerome, normally when you walk into a cafe and there is coffee brewing, the aroma invites you in. Even if you do not take coffee, you feel like this scent is inviting me in. I should be a part of this, right? Now,
True,
that's
true.
not what we saw in Parliament. Seems like coffee actually spilled into Parliament, and there was a standoff where, as there was, you know, on the floor of Parliament, they were discussing rationalizing the Uganda Coffee Development Authority and make it part of, dissolve it into the Ministry of Agriculture. Now, members of parliament, like you've said, some voted for and others against. Now, I would like to focus on those that voted against. Some of them, members of parliament, asked, why are you afraid of making people rich? Now, these are members of parliament from coffee growing areas. And so, like the member of parliament from Mbale, she said, the people of Mbale depend on coffee. And for them, the worry is that if the Coffee Development Authority is dissolved into the Ministry of Agriculture, it might mirror what happened to vanilla and tea, because according to them, the Ministry of Agriculture has failed to handle these produces, the coffee and the vanilla, and we cannot really see how they are faring as far as committing and contributing to the country's GDP is concerned. So that's where the members of parliament were coming from. And I wouldn't say they are wrong, because in as much as rationalization of government agencies is okay, it also shows that some agencies are supposed to stay alone. They're supposed to stand alone for them to be able to work effectively. And the leader of opposition put the Speaker of Parliament and the movers of this bill to the test and asked them, show us at least 2 crops that have been handled by the Ministry of Agriculture and they are doing well. Then we will have the comfort to vote for the Uganda Coffee Development Authority to be dissolved into the Ministry of Agriculture. But then there was a standoff, and the Speaker unfortunately had to call off Parliament. So that was an event that stood out. I mean, what a way to close the week.
Well, indeed. And of course, what an event to close the week in the same spirit. But that said, before I check in on Uncle Bob this Friday, more updates coming in from Israel show that Israel has killed 3 journalists in South Lebanon with a new massacre in Gaza. So it is a new development coming in from there, and we shall be giving you more updates that are following up with the same. But that said, Uncle Bob, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. I had a lovely Thursday. That was yesterday. I had some good time, and it was merrymaking. My only sister introduced to her some dance.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by.
I'll call you every day, You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondolo. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Juko. Yo. Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that.
Okay.
The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Uganda Friday edition. So welcome along to our newsreel discussion. And on Friday, as we turn it a little bit, we have conversations that are rather social and pretty much conversations that would need you, our dear viewer, to be part of. Now, this time around, we're heading to the world of creative arts, and we are going to be talking matters nurturing musicians and creatives in regards to mental health. And of course, many musicians have been having issues with mental health related illnesses and mental health issues over the years. Speaking of which, depression and dealing with situations where many of them have got to lose their careers simply because they have failed to control certain aspects of life, such as the fame and of course the money and of course the breakdowns that come in as any creative out there. This conversation is one that we will invite you, our dear viewer, to be part of and share your takes on mental health issues and how we can deal and solve the mental health related illnesses or challenges within the creative arts industry or within the entire communities where we reside in. It is a conversation that many of you will definitely be happy to be part of, or because you've seen someone struggling with depression, or you are personally going through a certain phase in your life where you need someone to listen to your story, or you need someone who shares the same story as yourself to come out and help you go through the same. And of course, to have this conversation, I'm joined by two amazing musicians, and with Olive Monica Najuma on set with me as we're going to be having this conversation. First, let me get into the introductions of our two guests. The very first is Buka Chimi. Now, Buka is a musician and a creative art, if I am to put it in that way, but at the same time, someone who is here to share with us his side of the story in regards to dealing with mental health issues. A very good morning, Buka. Thank you for joining us here on Good Morning Uganda.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. My name is Buka Chimi. I am a recording and performing artist. I'm also into the business of digital music distribution and publishing. Also, a newly inducted mental health advocate. Some of my records that you might know is Beer After Beer, Birumabayaye, Tuli Wabweru, Economy Tojiraba. That's just a bit of me, but also I love celebrating life.
Okay.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Indeed. And of course, if at all you love celebrating life, you are having another colleague with you who is Buka Chimi. Now, with Buka Chimi on set, we also have Miriam Namaganda, who is also a musician and a performing artist as well. She also joins us in this conversation. A very good morning, Namaganda. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Uganda. I'm Miriam Namaganda, and I'm really happy to be here today. And I'm happy to be discussing about this issue of mental health. It's really a very big topic that ought to be discussed.
Well, indeed, and it's indeed a conversation that we really need to have and open up to everybody to at least understand how we can take part of ensuring that those who are dealing with anything to do with mental health issues can easily have where to go to or can easily know who to speak to. But that said, I also have Olive Monica Najuma on set with me this morning, and I really wonder how impactful or how important this is for a conversation on her side. Olive.
Well, good morning, Jerome, once again. And it goes without saying, this is quite a big issue that our country is grappling with. If I may take you through the numbers, Jerome, over 14 million Ugandans are reported to be dealing with a certain sort of mental illness. And of these, 22.9% are children and 24.2% are adults. Now, when you also further break it down, it shows you how many, the kind of mental illnesses that people are grappling with, and you'll find that 4.6% of the population is living with depression disorders, and 2.9% are struggling with anxiety disorders. And you'll find that 29% compared to females, compared to 23% males, are also dealing with mental illness. Jerome, these seem like just statistics, but these are real people, real problems, real issues. This year in point, we have seen different men committing suicide and also women. And when you look at mental illness and then the numbers on suicide, it shows that more men commit suicide as compared to women. Women ideate the whole, basically they have the idea of suicide, but men really start it and actually go through with it. So the numbers are not okay at all, especially given that not only adults are affected, but children also.
Well, and of course, earlier this week we had a report running with the Daily Monitor talking about the fact that the growing number of suicidal cases amongst children between 15 to 29 is also something that is growing within the country, and you get to realize that this is a conversation that we really need to have. Now, like Oliver's mentioned, when you look at the leading cases of mental health related issues, depression, generalized anxiety disorder, and then there is that element of PTSD, which is a post-traumatic stress disorder, where we find ourselves reacting simply because of the trauma we carry from our past experiences or from our past and with our past endeavors in life. But that mentioned, let me head to Buka now. Buka Chimi, in this conversation we do have this morning, we've seen many artists going through certain phases of depression, certain phases of mental health related issues. Many have also been to rehab of the same. Kindly share with us your story of dealing with some of the mental health related occurrences.
Well, my story starts with me recording a song called Biru Mabayaye.
Okay.
When I recorded that song, I put it out during the lockdown. And while it was rising, I remember by that time my career was skyrocketing. So while my record was rising, my brother recorded the same song. But remember, I had done beer after beer, and Big Trill had recorded party after party. So for me, in my mind, I was like, okay, God, I've paid for my sins. Because I infringed on Big Trill's copyright, you get, intellectual property. So when my brother recorded the other version of Biru Mabayaye, I was like, God, I paid for my sins. You understand? But then, after that, I did not know that this industry we are dealing with has within politics, that you might be a practitioner of music, but you might not know the politics in the industry. So next thing I know is my music cannot play on certain TV stations and radio stations. and then DJs cannot playlist my music. And then when I tried to find out, actually in the same scenario, they started sending me interviewers. They started sending interviewers my way, who would take my interviews and then change the narrative of what I have said. You get print media, TV, radio. That me understanding that my career is growing and my music cannot play on TVs and radios, and some DJs can now playlist it, and yet I invest money in the career, really put me down. You get coming in at a time where my career was skyrocketing. By the time we were in lockdown, and all people cared about, they were tuned into the music because that was the only therapy we had at the moment. So me being in that position, it started hitting me hard. And being an independent artist, I did know how to deal with the situation professionally, because I did know who to talk to or who to run to. And then what happens, that is just a trigger of a series of emotional disorders that happen. Then you get into a space of, you know, your phone used to ring all the time because of these people who feel like you're making it in life, and then they can't call anymore, so the loneliness hits in. And then you feel like you're a failure, you're struggling to, you know, revive your career, and it's not happening. And then the people around you also start impacting or start doing things that still hurt you emotionally, but they don't understand what you're going through, yeah? And still around the same time, I was working with a record label, of which this record label was promising to sign me up and to invest in my music career, which wasn't happening, but not because the boss himself didn't want to, but the boss was in the USA, and my fellow workers were supposed to be like, you know what, let's support Booker, let's talk to the boss to invest in the career. But what the best thing they used to do was buy me alcohol and get me drunk all the time. Yes, you know, we live in workspaces where people feel like your growth is their failure, where they feel like if you win, they're not winning. You get, so I had my colleague who would just buy me alcohol. Like he used to buy me alcohol, buy me chips and liver. I used to eat well, but he didn't want me to have a sober mind. You get, and he was a producer. So every time I used to talk to him, you know what, let's get to studio and record a song. You know, let's get to studio and record our next record. Would be like, you know, I'm busy. So he wouldn't invest time in my career, but would invest so much in getting me drunk and not have a sober mind. Because all he wanted was me to stay in that state of mind. Then when that happened, I started speaking to myself. You know, when you're running insane, you have these wild thoughts in your head. So you move while talking to yourself. You get? And I at some point I had suicidal thoughts. I said, what's my purpose in life if I cannot serve it? So I had thoughts of taking my life. You get? I had thoughts of giving up. I had thoughts of hating the world. I also had thoughts of like, you know what, giving up on everything and trying to like stay in my space and hate everyone. Because I said, why should I have the love if I cannot get it?
That's what depression does to you.
You get? And for me, I didn't know how to overcome until a friend of mine called Brand Beats called me up and he told me, you know what, Booker, you're living a world of delusions. You should face reality. Sometimes you need to get back to the old times of how African men were raised with tough love. And you need to face reality. You need to face the world.
And Booker, just briefly here, for you, our dear viewer, you can be part of this conversation by sending in your text via SMS and on WhatsApp. And also, the number is now open for calls, 0709-602-592. And of course, you can share with us your own side of the story and also your opinion on what is being shared here this very morning in regards to mental health related issues within the arts industry. And of course, the number that you're seeing on your screen is where you can be part of this conversation. WhatsApp, SMS, and you will definitely also be able to call so that we can hear you say something about mental health. Just during the COVID-19 lockdown as well, that is post-COVID, there was an artist called Libianca who came up with a song called People.
People,
and surprisingly, it's that she was going through a phase and people just took up the song, not knowing what she was going through. And before I even get back to Booker, I want to hear from Namaganda now. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you are performing, but you're dying on the inside?
That is very true. I've ever found myself in a situation whereby I'm performing, but deep inside me, I'm dying. And so many times, by the way, as artists, we don't basically just sing. I'll use my own example. So many times we sing messages that people sing along with, but they don't get to know that we are singing exactly sometimes what we are going through. I cannot go song after song, but many times we sing, and basically what you're singing is what you are going through. And to the world, it seems like you're basically delivering a message, because the thing is, you're not the only person who is going through that. And the only chance I have is that I can express it through the music. But unfortunately, someone out there is not able to speak up. Like, a problem shared is half solved. So through the music that we sing, somehow, somewhere, we are encouraged. We do encourage ourselves. But talking about mental health, it's a very, very big issue that is just around us, within us. This is an issue that is affecting so many people. So many people are dying due to mental health issues, depression. They have no one like to share with what they're going through. There is this story that I really discouraged, and I was really disappointed in the people that posted the different nude pictures of. It's a video that I wouldn't want to so much talk about. But this is one lady, the time when they were counting, the numerators were moving around. So this lady in Ginger, she had her tab. She was moving, just normal, going to her work to do the counting. And along her way, she lost it. She lost herself, and out of the blue, she undressed. And out of the blue, she was moving, beating people around. And what broke my heart was the reaction from the people that were around this lady. That video made me cry. Why? This person is suffering mental health. You don't know what she is going through. You do not know what has even caused the madness out of the blue, because from the mental health, it's madness. It affects your brain, and before you know, you're mad. So before someone totally gets mad, it's the mental depressions, the depressions that they go through that cause them to turn into mad people. So the unfortunate bit that really broke my heart is when people got out their phones
to start recording.
Even fellow women, to start recording a mother, to start recording someone's wife out there. This is something that can happen to anyone out there. But here you are, it could be your sister. I actually tried to look out for this lady, but it was in vain. Mental health is a very big issue that people need to understand, that people are struggling deep inside their hearts with a lot of depression that they can't share. But what happens if such a thing happens? Should we pick out our phones and start recording people's nakedness? And
that's a bigger question than Maganda. Let me get back to Buka. Buka, you were still sharing your story. I cut you short along the way. And part of the story, you were taking us through the journey where you had to get to Brian Beats. And of course, it reminded you not to be living in a Delulu world and start focusing on the hard love and how men back in the African setting used to do their things, because men used to go to war.
So he had to get out of the Delulu situation and get us
and get us there. How then did you go through that phase now?
It was a tough one. So when I left the previous record label I was working with, I remember I moved in with a friend. When I moved in with a friend, you know, you have promises with each other that, you know, when we make it, we'll get this apartment, we'll get here. And the next thing I know, we are coming out of the lockdown, and then I produced a record called Tuliwabwe, which was a hit record, because that was the record that got us out of the lockdown.
That was your number?
Yeah, that was my record. Okay. So when I put it out, I remember going for a media tour in the East. I was booked to perform in Bale, but I said I cannot, since I've been down for all these years, let me reinvest this money into the career and do a media tour in the East. So while I moved to the East, when I came back, first thing my friend told me was, you have to move out. You get? And I was like, how much time do I have? It was like ASAP.
Are we, Booker, are we talking about the same time where you made a collab with Angela at the time?
So when I recorded Biru Mabayaye and my brother recorded the same song, yeah, and I said I pay for my scenes, that's the same time I met with Angela, and then we recorded the remix of Biru Mabayaye because she got to understand a bit of my story. And she was like, you know, Booker, let me add my value onto the song and see how we can carry on from here. Yeah? But going forward, so I became homeless when I had a hit song. Do you know what that feels like?
And for our dear viewer, the Angela we're talking about is Angela Katatumba in this context.
The beautiful Angela Katatumba.
Okay.
And as Booker continues with his story, I wanted to highlight that many artists grapple with big issues when on the outside for us we are seeing they're slaying. Like you have, how do you have a hit song and you are homeless? Most people will not understand, but please continue.
Yeah, I've actually recorded the most happiest songs when I'm down. But I remember this one time, there's a time I was performing at the National Theatre. It was the Power Rhythm Festival activation. And then in the middle of my performance, I broke down and cried. So my band kept playing for over 4 minutes and I was just crying, like just literally crying in the song. And then the entire audience was quiet and some of them started crying with me. Because at some point you realize you don't have to say what you're going through, you get. But when you break down, some people also get into your space and also feel your pain. And some also, it is a way of them opening up or relieving themselves, you get. Fast forward to what we're talking about. When I put out Tuliwa Weru, my friend gets me on the streets, and then I don't know what to do next. You get? I have a hit record, but I am homeless. And then out there, people see me smiling, people see the record doing good, people see a nice video. They don't even know how I shot the video or how I got the finances, but they're all about the artist they see on TV. You get? Fast forward also, so I talked to Brand Beats again, and he tells me, you know what, Booker, I have space at my studio. You started something. Maybe you can come here and we start, you know, finding a way out. So I remember sleeping at his studio for a couple of weeks while I was collecting money for rent. And he helped me throughout the process of getting the money for rent. But this whole thing is happening. I'm still struggling with the fact that my music cannot play. And Tuliwa Weru is playing because it's a hit record.
But the other records are not playing.
No, they were being pressed and bottled. So I was dealing with mental health disorders, emotional disorders. I was dealing with a betrayal of friends because they thought I was failing as an artist. And this whole thing was happening, but the world wasn't in the know of what was going on in my world. And for me, as an artist, I said, even when I am at my lowest, I'll never show what I am going through to my fans. I'll let them always see my brand as a good brand, as a growing brand. So even when I stepped out of the industry for 3 years to rehabilitate myself, I still released 1 or 2, 3 songs. And you know the questions that keep breaking you the more are questions like, why don't you give us music anymore? You have everything around you. You have Brand Beats, you have the studio, you have friends who are videographers. Why aren't you, you know the thing? But they don't know what you're dealing with internally, and you cannot talk to everyone because mental health disorders are very sensitive topics to talk about.
Yes.
And not every one of us is in the space of dealing with the fact that we can have these conversations.
Well, and of course, on the element of having those conversations is where I'm inviting my viewer this morning to be part of this conversation. And I'm seeing some comments coming through here. There's Mgaga Sao Rembo in Nabweru. He says he's an MP to be Nansana municipality. He's watching with his entire team. Mgaga, thank you very much for being part of the show. And I've also got my sister, Gloria Mujisha. She's a therapist. She's also someone who is an expert in dealing with children, with autistic children, I should say. And of course, she's always on the show. Then Fleeton has just deleted the message. Let me get to Namaganda. Namaganda, let's get into this conversation of how do we deal with this? Where do we start from? Because you were first of all sharing with us rather the experience you've faced, and you've also given an example of that lady in Ginger. But looking into that, from your personal experience, have you gone through a moment, a situation where you almost thought you were losing everything you had?
Yeah, I have gone through such kind of a moment, and it was really a trying moment. It's called PTSD, right?
Yes, yes.
And this is a situation that can even cause you hang yourself. You're not a Christian and a strong person in God.
There you go.
You get to a point and you're like, why is this all happening to me? And there is this part whereby you're always like, I don't want the world to know what I'm going through. I don't want the world to know that my life is not a perfect life. I don't want the world to know that, I'll use the example of marriage, that I'm going through this through my marriage. I don't want the world to know that I'm not this perfect person they see. And then you're like, who do I share this that I'm going through with? And then at the end of the day, you find yourself breaking down. You find yourself losing. There's a place in Bugolobi called Strong Minds. There's someone I tried talking to, but then I couldn't open up so much. So you find that people die with a lot within them. If not helped, they can end up killing themselves. So personally, I have gone through it, and I would say to the world that it's always good to check out on people. It's always good to keep in touch if you're not hearing from someone. So many times we blame people for not calling us. So many times for not caring for us. So many times you're like, that person doesn't care, so you don't also care. But then you don't know what that person is going through. We smile out, or they smile out here, laugh, chat with you, but deep inside their houses, deep inside their hearts, you don't know what they're struggling with. So mental illness is something that is all over. Mental illness, even with children. I've seen stories whereby children have killed themselves, unfortunately. It's not only the mature people that are struggling with mental health. You find a child needs something, but due to certain circumstances, this child is not able to open up. And the only option this kid has in his mind is killing himself. You find these girls that, what should I don't know how to bring it out, but let me use the example of parents, for example, that have separated. And this is a young lady that is undergoing a certain situation. She cannot probably open up to the father whom she is now remaining with as a parent. You know, girls, sometimes we have our own issues. She starts thinking, how do I go about this? Probably she then gets pregnant. I've seen girls that have killed themselves. There's even a story, a current story of this girl that brought a very... Yes, actually for her she even had both parents. But she underwent depression.
And the parents didn't know.
The parents didn't know. And to them they thought the girl was okay. And imagine if someone is living with this person that is depressed, this person that is undergoing mental illness, but they don't even have an idea that she is undergoing such a situation until when they are called at school and the girl has committed suicide. Wow. Yeah, she had killed herself. She was pregnant. She couldn't even open up to the parents to tell them, Daddy, I'm pregnant. She couldn't open up to the mother. She couldn't open up to the father. So you can see that depression and mental illness is a big issue, not only around the artists, not only around the big people, but also within children. So it's, I call upon everyone, if you really, and it's not always good to, there is a way people usually handle others, like that person has a problem, but you leave it at that. I think so-and-so has a problem. It's always important to reach out where you can. You speak to this person.
And we do have a caller online. Let's get his thoughts and opinion on this particular matter so that we can get into other comments that are coming along. And for those of you who want to be part of the conversation, the WhatsApp number that you're seeing on your screen is the same number that you can use to call or text as well via SMS, and you can as well share your opinion using WhatsApp if at all you cannot access the call log in that regard. 0709602592 is the number we are using currently. And away from that, as we will be taking in more of the phone calls. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Well, it's quite unfortunate. We shall be getting more of that particular caller later on as we continue with our conversation. Now, we do have 2 comments so far again. This one said, thanks for such an educational talk on mindful creativity of mental health. Indeed, we need more of such. This is Akungiziwe Ronald from Fort Porto. Thank you, Ronald. The other one says, hi, Joram, thanks for the show. And mental health is a general issue. This is Balam Peter Paul from Namugongo Mental Health. He says that mental health has, from Namugongo, he says mental health has many types, including anxiety disorder, general anxiety disorder, panic disorders, phobias, bipolar disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. Thank you very much. Olive, let me bring you back again in this conversation. In regards to what we are discussing, how can we deal with this kind of issue?
First of all, I am touched by the stories I've had here and Booker's story, because we have seen different artists both on the local and even on international scene. They performing, giving us amazing movies, giving us beautiful music, but they're going through a lot of things, and some of them have gone ahead to kill themselves. I remember a case, I think around COVID-19 or shortly after, when a former Miss USA committed suicide. She jumped from a building and died. But this lady had money, she had connections, she had beauty, she had everything from the outside we see and say that person has made it in life. Now, coming back to your story, you had hit records playing. All of us were dancing and gyrating to Ebiru Mabayai and so much more. But no one could even ever stop to think, what is the artist going through? So for me, when I listened to this, and then I remember Exodus was once here, shared his story with us, where he was also dealing with depression, okay? So when I see these stories, then there is the one of Jackie Chandiru and many artists. Then there was Cute Kaye. I mean, we have watched him lose it all and become like a tiny thing because one, okay, he had other health issues, but he also says he was deeply, deeply depressed. So this is not new. And I think artists have one big problem, that there is the fanfare that surrounds you. And there is this life we think you must have. Imagine if right now Shiba Karunji came out and said, I am depressed. There are people who may not believe her because in their eyes, she has it all. Yeah. She has made it in life. Yeah. But you could find that even a person of that stature is dealing with things. So solutions, Joram, I think that we need to extend grace. First of all, as the fans, we need to extend grace to our artists. Also, artists themselves, I don't know, you might tell me, you're the artists, do you have circles where you can actually talk to each other? Do you have, you see, like in the Alcoholics Anonymous, they normally have, Alcoholic Anonymous groups, they normally have sponsors. You have someone that was maybe an addict before, has been sober for like 20 years, and they are walking the journey of sobriety with you. So in the artist, in the creatives industry, do you have such people that can walk with you, that you can talk to? They don't even have to be professionals, but people that have gone through the same problem, the same challenges as you.
Unfortunately, we are in an industry where it is easy for propaganda to be pushed. It's easy for these funny stories to be pushed, but it's not so easy to talk about health issues or mental health disorders. But I know the Uganda Musician Federation has a mental health department that it's just put up. Ray Signature is the chairman of the mental health department. I don't know their values. I don't know their objectives, but I know it exists. That's a good place to start from.
Yes, yes.
And also personally, my coping mechanism was learning how, growing spiritually and understanding the walk of life towards God. So every time I would feel the heaviness on me, I'll just play deep worship and then cry to God. So every time I cried, I would just empty myself, like empty the beat, take away the bitterness, take away the hate, take away the wild thoughts that were in my head. But pushing forward, when I came out and told people I've been out of the industry for 3 years because I was rehabilitating myself, I was going through a series of depression and anxiety, many musicians reached out, established and those just up and coming, reached out and told their stories in my inboxes, and they were like, I'm going through this, but I cannot come up and speak because the person getting me into this situation is a person of high value. I cannot fight them, I don't have the resources, and I cannot come out and speak. You understand? And that's where the thought of creating my event called Mindful Creativity with the theme of nurturing mental wellness in the creative arts. And one of our main objectives is to create a space where someone can log onto our website and then talk to a professional. So we are going to create a website where your identity stays anonymous, but then you reach out to a mental health professional who can help you. And what we are doing is we are trying to talk to mental health practitioners across the world so that anytime you log on, there's someone awake in a different time zone. That is one of our objectives. And also, we are engaging people like, we shall have a live podcast before my performance with the band. And one of the panelists is Jackie Chandiru. So having a lady like her who has gone through this whole situation, established artist, then when all that happened, she had a good marriage going on. And then for us, what we focused on were the drugs. And that's what everyone focuses on. But they don't know the triggers.
To the drugs.
There's a time I cried, I was watching TV. You know, for the past 3 years, I've not gone to clubs. I've not performed anywhere. So I was watching the Memories of Good Life show. And then Gift of Kado comes on the show and someone is holding their phones like, Labe Njaga, Labe Njaga, Labe Njaga. But we don't know that Gift of Kado got into that situation after losing his music partner, Mr. X. Same thing that Weasel. Right now, Weasel needs a lot of love. You get? He is going through a series of depression. We see some musicians and we ignore them, just like Jose Chameleon. Right now, Jose Chameleon, when he gets on the mic, is like, you don't appreciate me the more. He says words like bombo clat. But we don't know all those are triggers of pain. You get? But we ignore that. But until it gets to the breaking point and we'll be like, Enjaga ya mukuba. Bakozesa aisabo. You get? Same thing with Joe Stede. He is currently in rehabilitation, but they are triggers that we ignore. All we care about is bakozesebi bakuba.
So, if I may ask, now I am not an artist, but I'm a fan. Let's say I'm part of your family or your friends group. How can we as a society help our artists to remain mentally in a good place? I would like for you to answer, but I would also like for Namaganda to answer. And also Namaganda, the other question to you after Buka is, as a woman in this industry, what are some of those things that have made you feel mentally challenged? What are some of the challenges you've gone through that have driven you to depression as a woman in the industry? But I would like Buka to answer the other question first.
I think there's this theory of an artist should live like a king, which is very, very wrong. Sometimes you're at the peak of your career and sometimes you don't have it. You get? And you a normal person in the end of it all, at the end of it all, you're a normal person. If I'm at the peak of my career, I'll be able to eat a burger or a pizza. But if I'm not, let me be able to walk to H Commando stall and get H Commando without
eating H Commando.
Yes, without being judged. A lot of judgment is thrown on us. You get? And it also comes back to one of our objectives, bridging a gap between the creators and the consumers of our crafts. We need to bring the fans into our world out of just the music we create. and the lifestyle we sell to them, we need to be able to sit in think tanks and have dialogue. We are pushing so much the dialogue versus the just being on stage and performing and being happy. We need to create spaces where we can have these conversations. I love what's going on with the Federation every Tuesday, where musicians can get to interact with the fans one-on-one. Then maybe you can know what how Booker speaks, how Booker interacts.
Well spoken, by the way.
Yeah, and also maybe that's how we make friends with the consumers of our craft. And TVs are so much, TVs and radios and the media is so much about the entertainment. And right now, I don't even get the narrative people are pushing in the industry currently. You get the music is not even speaking anymore. But we need to create spaces of dialogue where we bring artists and just speak to them and just create spaces where we can freely open up. But we are in a world where a musician is looked at like a king. You cannot fault. You cannot speak about your situation.
Why are you broke?
No.
Yeah,
I know.
I would like you to pick up from there in regards to the challenges, the question that Olive asked you earlier. In regards to the challenges as a woman, the challenges you're facing as a woman who is in the music industry.
As a woman who is in the music industry, I can say I've really faced a lot of challenges. Like you say, that music no longer communicates. So many times people have looked at music as entertainment. But I would want to say that as a woman and an advocate, because I use my music for advocacy, I'm an advocate for children and I advocate for them through music. I do sing against early and forced marriages. I do sing, I advocate for children's rights. They have to be in school education. Actually, I have some children I'm taking care of. And to that, I have an event coming up on the 1st of November, which is next week on Friday. I do advocacy music for the people with disabilities. But you find that you're doing this passionately. I'm speaking as me. You do it passionately. And you're speaking out, wanting to speak out to maybe those people who are undergoing situations. I'll speak to about the people with disabilities. You know, disability is not inability.
True.
Talking about mental issues, you find that so many people with disabilities have undergone mental issues. Why? Because so many people think they can't.
Okay.
So many people think they cannot do anything on their own. So as a woman, why am I bringing this up? I have experienced challenges of like breaking through in this music. Like I said, so many times people want entertainment. You really have a message to pass on to people. You really have a message for those people who are undergoing through that particular situation. But the media houses have not given them chance to listen to that.
Okay.
So as a woman, when there is a time I knew I was to really break through and brave through, I should really share about this.
Namaganda, you will share about that later on because we shall be having Namaganda later on here in a conversation with Olive. And just because of time, let's get more from Booker. Booker, just lastly, about your upcoming concert, please share details of that.
Well, it's not really a concert. When I came out, in my mind, I thought I should put up a concert, like you've mentioned.
Okay.
But getting more feedback from fellow creatives, and when we say creatives, we are talking about promoters who slang CDs in town, promoters who slang flashes to just push the musicians' music, the videographers, the comedians, the TV presenters, the camera guys, like everyone in the creative arts, in the creative space. So as I sat down with my team, I really need to big up my team. Beats House, Brand Beats, John K, the writer, Mose the writer, Puma Beats, Ope. We sat down and were like, you know what? I cannot have gone through this, and I know a series of people that are going through this and go for a concert or something of the sort. Why don't we create a social event where we can just gather and just celebrate life and just be happy and just talk about mental health? And also, why don't we create platforms where we can freely express ourselves, where we can bridge a gap between the consumers and the creatives, where we can talk about the creative burnouts
Okay. And well, of course, you can be part of the same event that Buka is actually preparing, or the same event that is the Mindful Creativity with Buka Chimi, nurturing mental health in the creative arts. 9th of November 2024 at Motive is where you can be part of. Please also note that the World Mental Health Day is annually celebrated on the 10th of October. However, today at the UBC Gardens will be the World Mental Health Day 2024, looking at prioritizing mental health at the workplace. The national celebration is at the 25th of October today at the UBC Gardens, Kampala. And of course, if you want to be part of it, it's an event that is going to be here at our premises this very afternoon, starting this mid-morning rather. Then that said, I'll end up this conversation with a comment coming in from Dr. Glenn Edielu from Mulago Hospital. He says he's an OB of Miriam Namaganda. He's a senior pediatric at Mulago Hospital. He says in Mulago we have an adolescents mental health clinic running every Friday on Ward 15, and I speak right now. I'm waiting for adolescents to review. Mental health is a huge problem, but no one cares. The best support structure is family and God. Every Friday I listen to adolescents and relate with what they go through, because coming from Jinja Senior Secondary School, you go through so much struggle that in the outside world it appears easier to deal with everyday problems. And of course, for the others that have commented and shared their opinion, thank you very much for being part of our newsreel. We've been having Buka Chimi, who has been joining us and sharing his story on the side of dealing with mental health related issues. Again, thank you very much, Buka, for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the show, and it's been a pleasure. My call upon everyone, the event is at Motive on the 9th, like you mentioned, and it's a free event. So let's come catch a vibe. I'll be performing with my band. And also, thank you for having me.
All right. And alongside Buka Chimi, we've had Miriam Namaganda, who is going to be back shortly in a conversation to talk about her upcoming event. And on the sideline of things, on my extreme left has been Olive Monica Najuma, who has also been part of this conversation. Well, Good Morning Uganda does continue immediately after the break. Stick around because we have a performance coming on after that.
Is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday, 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by.
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Gmu out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Hey, Uplift family. Have you ever wondered how you can tap into the power of your own energy to transform your life? Energy healing, also known as user energy practices, is an ancient holistic approach to promote physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Join us as we explore various alternative practices that harness the incredible power of user energy to promote physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Number 10 on our list is Reiki. Reiki is a Japanese technique that involves the laying on of hands to channel healing energy. Practitioners believe that this energy can help balance the body's energy and promote relaxation and overall wellness. Number 9 on our list is acupuncture. Acupuncture is a traditional Chinese medicine practice that involves inserting thin needles into specific points on the body to stimulate energy flow, qi, and promote balance within the body. Number 7 is chakra balancing. Chakras are believed to be energy centers within the body. Practitioners of energy healing work to balance and align these chakras to ensure the smooth flow of energy throughout the body. Number 6 is crystal healing. Crystals are thought to have specific energies that can influence the body's energy field. Practitioners use crystals by placing them on or around the body to promote healing, balance, and positive energy. Number 5 is Qigong. Qigong is a Chinese practice that combines movement, breath, and meditation to cultivate and balance Qi, life force energy. It is often used to improve physical health and enhance spiritual well-being. Number 4 on the list is Theta healing. Theta healing involves accessing the theta brainwave state to connect with the divine and make changes at the subconscious level. Practitioners believe that this technique can facilitate physical and emotional healing. Number 3 on the list is biofield therapies. Biofield therapies, including therapeutic touch and healing touch, involve practitioners using their hands to interact with the patient's energy field and promote healing. Taking the second spot is sound healing. Sound healing uses vibrations from instruments such as singing bowls, gongs, or tuning forks to resonate with the body's energy and promote relaxation and healing. Finally is aromatherapy. Aromatherapy involves using essential oils to influence mood, emotions, and overall well-being. Certain scents are believed to have specific energetic properties. It's important to note that energy healing is a complementary practice and should not replace traditional medical treatments. It can be used alongside conventional medicine to enhance overall wellness. So, why not take a step towards unlocking the power of your own energy? By embracing user energy healing practices, you can tap into a world of limitless possibilities, connect with your inner self, and experience the transformative power of these alternative approaches. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insightful content. This program is produced by Sani Production, powered by UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
In a world that never stops, find your balance, your beauty, your radiance. Welcome to Dr. Beauty, the show where beauty is more than skin deep. Join us as we explore the secrets to glowing skin, healthy hair, and the perfect self-care routines. From expert tips on skincare to makeup magic and everything in between. Dr. Beauty will unlock the code and show you how to embrace the beauty that's uniquely yours. Dr. Beauty, only on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. But what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
We'll be back from the break, and now it's time for us to get into the bit of the entertainment and performances here on Good Morning Uganda Friday edition. The Friday edition is one which is filled up with the entertainment, and of course, as we start off the weekend, we always have performers that come along and from different spaces of creative arts and the industry within performers. Where performers do come along. But that mentioned, this particular morning, we do have Josephine Pob. Now, Josephine Pob joins us here on Good Morning Uganda to give us the bit of the entertainment. But before we even get into what she has prepared for us this morning, we need to understand what kind of music she does and who is Josephine Pob. That is the question that I want to believe you as our viewer are highly interested in getting this very morning. Good morning, Josephine. You're live and clear on Good Morning Uganda. How are you doing?
I'm well.
I am okay. Who is Josephine Pob?
Josephine Pob is a worshipper, a lover of God, a mother, a wife, fashion designer.
Okay.
Yeah, I do quite a lot.
Okay, indeed. You do quite a lot. And in Uganda, you definitely have to do quite a lot to survive, if I choose to say. But besides that, Josephine, when did you start this journey of worshiping? Was it a call? Like, when did you feel it is the right time for you to get into, you know, gospel music?
From when I was a child.
Okay.
My mom is a worshiper, so she brought me up and my brother on piano, singing. But I really started my journey and took it quite seriously when I joined Fanero.
Okay.
I pray from Fanero Ministries International. Yeah, so
Apostle Grace.
Yeah, when I joined Fanero, he gave me platform. I've been trained, skilled, equipped through that ministry.
Okay, and briefly again, before I leave you on set to perform for us the songs you've prepared, I also need to know, have you done production of songs, and which was your very first song that you pushed out there on the different platforms for people to appreciate your music?
I started producing music when I was in my Form 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that is quite some years back, about 2007. Yeah, and in that time, of course, you push to radios, TVs, the local ones then, and that song was Vakobantu.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I took this seriously about 3 years back when I went out and started shooting videos for many of my songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And just again, before I leave you on set, let me just say hello to your brother who you said you're moving with. Hello, good morning, sir. You're live on Good Morning Uganda. Just briefly say hello to the viewers and tell us how you started this journey of playing the keyboard that you're on.
Hello viewers, it's right on set here. So you saw my journey, music and playing piano. Of course, it started way back as basically I told you. I was raised by a mother who was a music minister, and she trained us how to sing. However, concerning the keyboard in particular, I started pursuing learning it 2016.
Okay. All right. But you haven't told us the names though. All right, Benjamin Mukisa is here with Joseph and Bob, and it's time for me to leave them on set to give you that bit of inspirational kind of feeling this morning here on Good Morning Uganda Friday edition, so that you enter your weekend in the realm of the spirit. Good morning, Josephine Pob and Benjamin Mukisa.
Bwenkutunulira Yesu omukwano newunya ekitiibwa ky'olina ssebo ebigambo nebimbula nensalawo nvuname kuba ekitiibwa kyo n'amaanyi go bisukulumye. Nide mukama fetu kusinza ai mukama osanide tukuwa ekitiibwa kyo osanide la yegwe Katonda omusajja kumbalasi enjeru ng'erinnya lye ye mwesigwa ow'amazima kabaka w'abakabaka mukama w'abakama yeye alfa ne omega yeye ka asanide okuzingako mukeka oli mutukuvu oli wakitiibwa teri akwekana ai mukama osanide tukuwa ekitiibwa kyo osanide Katonda w'amaanyi kitiibwa kyo n'amaanyi go bibuutikidde ensi yonna bamalayika n'abakadde bayimba ntoli mutukuvu. is called Teri Alinga Gwe. Yegwe Katonda sobola byonna, omunene atenkanika, oli nsibuko ya buli kirungi, tokyukakyuka ate tolimba, oli kitangala ky'ensi, gwe luyimba lw'ebitonde, essanyu ly'omutima gwange, emirembe n'emirembe tuvunama tusinza, teri alinga gwe Yesu, teri alinga gwe, teri alinga gwe, teri alinga gwe, munsi yonna, teri alinga gwe, teri alinga gwe, teri alinga gwe, munsi yonna. Katonda w'amagero yegwe, yegwe atalemererwa, tolemererwa, ensi n'okujjula kwayo bibyo, era ng'otuula mu nze munda, buli vivi livunama na buli lulimi lwatula, gwe Mukama w'eggulu n'ensi, emirembe n'emirembe tuvunama tusinza, teri alinga gwe Yesu, teri alinga gwe, teri alinga gwe, teri alinga gwe, munsi yonna, teri alinga gwe, teri alinga gwe, teri alinga gwe, munsi yonna, teri alinga gwe, mukuwonya teri akwenkana, mukutwagala teri akwenkana, munsi yonna, teri anjagala nga gwe, teri afaayo. asanite. Tewali alinga kwe Yesu kweweka asanite. Tewali alinga kwe Yesu kweweka asanite. Gwe Yesu kweweka asanite. Tewali gwe Yesu kweweka asanite. Yesu wange tewali alinga gwe Yesu kweweka asanite. Osanite sebo, osanite. Tewali alinga gwe Yesu kweweka asanite. Teli alinga kwe, teli alinga kwe, teli alinga kwe. Monsi yona, teli ajagalanga kwe, teli afayonga kwe, teli alinga kwe. Monsi yona sebo, teli alinga kwe, teli alinga kwe, teli alinga kwe. Monsiona, teli alinga kwe, teli alinga kwe, teli alinga kwe.
Well, it's giving worship Sundays, and of course, it is a Friday here on Good Morning Uganda, and what a performance, I should say, from Josephine, Pob, and Mukisa in studio with us here. And of course, what a blessing we are having this morning from the two from the Phaneroo Ministries International, and I should say for all the sisters and brothers in Christ from Phaneroo. Thank you very much for being part of this particular show. And Josephine, just lastly from the same, first of all, thank you very much for the performance. It was really worth it for this Friday morning and worship. But that aside, do you have any upcoming event that you would like the viewer this morning to know about?
Yeah, I have a live album recording. It's going to be at Theatre La Bonita on next Saturday, the 2nd of November.
Okay.
Yeah, entrance is 30K. ordinary and 50,000 VIP. I'm featuring the best of the best worshippers in the nation.
Okay.
Price Love, Becky Worship, the one who sang Leka Kalosa, Akoko Sinza Kwangi. I'm featuring Comfort, Isingoma, Javi, Samuel Jim, Kalina Tor, Minister Gift, and many others. It's going to be a beautiful experience. It's really not a concert, it's a worship experience, to experience God in a different way. Yeah, so it's going to be a beautiful day.
All right. And of course, if you want to experience God in a godly manner, like she has mentioned, Theatre La Bonita next week, 2nd of November, it will be a Saturday. And of course, after the worship on Sunday, you will then go to church. So you can easily see it will be a weekend filled up with worship and only godliness throughout. And of course, as we normally do it here, is with the entertainment aside. After the break, Olive Monica Najuma returns with Miriam Namaganda, but in the same spirit, she has some movie recommendations for you, our dear viewer, as you're heading into the weekend. What do you need to look out for in regards to the movies or series that we have gathered for you here? But Good Morning Uganda Friday edition does continue. I'm out of here with Josephine Pob and Benjamin Mukisa. For now, stick around.
Live from Ubc Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday, 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by. You can now get all the Gmu out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Maskari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. We want to should do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, this is just the right moment for us to get into the entertainment that could take you through the entire weekend. Good morning once again. I'm Olive Monica Najuma, and right about now we get to delve into movie recommendations because it has just begun. So the first movie for the day is a psychological thriller film written, directed and produced by M. Night Shyamalan, and I'll share more about the stars. But the plot of the movie is following a Philadelphia firefighter, Cooper Abbott, who takes his teenage daughter Riley to pop star Led Raven's concert as a reward for her good grades. There, Cooper notices the unusually high police presence around the concert venue, and he learns from a vendor named Jamie that the FBI plans to catch a serial killer known as the Butcher, having learned he will be in attendance. Now, Cooper is revealed to be the Butcher himself, secretly checking footage on his phone of his latest captive victim, Spencer, in a basement. He steals Jamie's ID card and learns the passphrase that will identify him as an employee, using the cast card to gain access to a back room and steal a police radio. My goodness, this is interesting. Now let's watch the trailer.
Freaking nut job that goes around.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Lady Raven.
Hurry, come on.
Wait. I got time on shoot.
No dad jokes, this is serious. Come on.
I'm sorry. Lady Raven!
This is slap dad. Thank you. This is literally the best day of my life. I'm good, Dad.
All right? Cooper,
Jamie.
what's with all the police trucks outside? The cameras everywhere, Jamie. I'm not supposed to tell. Something happening? Don't rat me out. I won't. You know the Butcher? The freaking nut job that goes around just chopping people up? Well, the feds or whatever heard that he's gonna be here today, so they set up a trap for him. This whole concert, it's a trap. They're watching all the exits, checking everyone that leaves. There's no way to get out of here.
Wow, that is a Trap. Now, Trap is starring Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett plays Cooper, and also it is starring Ariel Donoga and Saleka Knight, Alison Peel, Hayley Mills, Jonathan Langdon, and Mark Bacall. This movie premiered on August 2nd, 2024, and it grossed $82.7 million worldwide. If that doesn't tell you to watch the movie, at least let the trailer do that. Now, let's move on to the next movie of the day, and that is the greatest of all time, also marketed as GOAT, which is a 2024 Indian Tamil language action thriller filmed, directed by Venkat Prabhu and produced by AGS Entertainment. Now, the film follows a plot in 2008 at Kenya. The Special Anti-Terrorism Squad, SATS, consisting of MS Gandhi and his teammates Sunil, Kalyan and Ajay, who intercepts the terrorist Omal to extract uranium from him. Their former chief, Rajiv Menon, who is absconding after being charged with treason, is also on the same train. They retrieve the uranium from Menon and destroy the train he was on, believing everyone on board, including Menon, to have died. But now, in a twist of events back in Delhi, the team lives undercover as employees of a travel agency, hiding their real jobs from their families. Now, Gandhi lives with his wife, Anu, who is pregnant, and their 5-year-old son, Jivan. Let's watch the trailer.
Illappa.
Guys, this is a new assignment. உங்களை லீட் பண்ண போறது ஒரு புது லீடர். 68 international successful operations. Hostage negotiator, field agent, spy. In short, he is the GOAT of SATS.
குழந்தை நல்லா இருக்கு, ஒன்னும் டென்ஷன் ஆகாத. எனக்கு குழந்தைய நினைச்சலாம் டென்ஷன் இல்ல, காந்திய நினைச்சுதான் டென்ஷன். இப்பெல்லாம் அலோஃபா சுத்திட்டு இருக்காரு, வீட்டுக்கும் டைமுக்கு வரதில்ல.
இனிமே சத்தியமா குடிக்கூடாதுடா.
ஏதாவது பொண்ணோட தொடர்பு இருக்கும்னு கொஞ்சம் சந்தேகமா இருக்கு.
சில்லி woman. அறிவு இருக்கடா உனக்கு? எல்லா மிஷனுக்கு ஃபேமிலியோட ஹாலிடேக்கு போவானா? அதுவும் பேங்காக்கு குடும்பத்தோட போவானா?
அனுபவிச்ச இந்த பெயினை காந்தியும் அனுபவிக்கணும்.
இல்லப்பா, you are in danger.
இது வரைக்கும் நிறைய பேர் காந்தி வேஷம் போட்டு பார்த்துருக்கேன், ஆனா ஃபார் த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் காந்தியே வேஷம் போட்டு பார்க்கலாம்.
சென்னையில் ஏதோ ஒரு இடத்துல பாம்பு வைக்க போறாங்க.
பிரச்சனையை விட்டு நீங்க 2 பேரும் சண்டை போட்டுட்டு இருக்கீங்க.
உன்னால முடியல, நான் சொல்லு, நான் போட்டேன்.
வயசாயிடுச்சு, ஸ்குவாடை விட்டு போய் பல வருஷம் ஆச்சு. எப்படின்னு யோசிக்கிறீங்களா?
Now, the greatest of all is starring Vijay in a dual role as MS Gandhi and also as Jivan Gandhi, also Sanjay Menon. Now, it also stars Akilan Ayaz Khan. It is also starring Prabhu Deva. And the movie was released on 5th September 2024. And it is in both the standard and IMAX formats. Now, also this movie is in Telugu and Hindi respectively, because those are 2 different languages in India. So now we move on to the next movie. It is The Shadow Strays, which is a 2024 Indonesian action crime thriller film written and directed by Timo Janto. It was released by Netflix on 17th October 2024. Pretty new. So it follows Codename 13, a 17-year-old trained assassin who is under suspension because of a sloppy mission in Japan. The girl built a conscience when she met Monji, an 11-year-old boy who lost his mother to a crime syndicate. And when Monji is captured, 13 is hell-bent on setting a path of destruction to rescue the boy, including going against her mentor and the organization who hires her, The Shadow. Let's watch the trailer.
Tunggu sampai pemberitahuan selanjutnya. Komitmen dan dedikasimu selalu kami hargai.
Sebenarnya nama kakak siapa sih?
Kamu terdistraksi. Karena itu kamu gagal.
Di mana Monji?
Kamu mau anak itu, saya mau jasa kamu. Saya tahu kamu bukan perempuan sembarangan.
Their bodies all over Jakarta.
Jadi semua kekacauan ini cuma karena satu bocah.
Kita datang untuk menetralisir, bukan untuk menolong atau bernegosiasi. Ini jatuh 13.
Released on 17th October 2024 on Netflix, the movie stars Aurora Rebelto as 13 Onomi and Hannah Malasan, Taskia Namia, Agra Piliang, Andre Mashad, among others. And that brings us to the end of our movie recommendations. You can go and look out for these and have a good time over your weekend. Now, when I come back, I'll be having a conversation with Miriam Namaganda. We'll be talking things, her upcoming concert, but also what inspires her to create the kind of music that she does.
Live from Ubc Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday, 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to Genome 7, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by. You can now get all the Gmu out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the MyMTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Live from Ubc Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Black Market Records.
yetawulirwa agamba yekuuma nnyo nayitirira ng'ate munne teyekuuma wabuli kadde bumpanki mu matama ebweru newakatataliza agamba yalinda nga gwalinda komawona mu kkuto agamba yatuula neyebuusa kiki kyatakola sikiliza sikiliza kati usikilize sasa sikiliza sikiliza kati usikilize sasa ayagala nnyo kutesa kati usikilize ayagala nnyo muwulirize kati usikilize akugamba yalota bingi yasuubira bingi naye si bwe byakola kati akamwenyu bwe kaba kamwenyu yasigaza kali akasoka era akakuma kasigala mu memories abiwulireyo bakuyita musanyusa kyokka nga ye busungu ekabwalaba kyokka nga yekumye agamba yalinda obwalinda komawona mu kkuto agamba yatula neyebuuza kiki kyatakola sikiliza sikiliza kati usikilize sasa sikiliza sikiliza kati usikilize sasa ayagala nnyo kutesa kati usikilize ayagala nnyo muwulirize kati usikilize.
First of all, you have such a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
God, you know, like I'm getting the a cappella version here, and amazing, amazing. Do the a cappella quickly, quickly.
agamba yali mu mukwano ng'akiririza mu mukwana watali kwesika agamba yagonda nnyo naye yasasulwa mu butesigwa agamba yakkakkana nnyo n'awuliriza kyokka nga ye tawulirwa agamba yekuuma nnyo n'ayitirira ng'ate munne teyekuuma nga buli kadde bumpwanki mu matama ebweru newakatataliza agamba yalinda nga gwalinda komawona mu kkuto.
Okay, of course, the lyrics themselves, they are striking a chord, and I believe that many people can relate with that. But if we could start, Miriam, how are you?
I'm very okay. I'm very fine.
So I am here with Miriam Namaganda, and she has such an angelic voice. Now, that song in particular, what is it all about?
This song is about the people in relationships. It's about married people. It's cautioning you out there. If you're in a marriage and things are not working out, the solution is not infidelity. So many times women have thought going out for other men is the solution for the problems they're having in their homes. And then also men have thought that going out for other women out there is the solution. But the solution that I give unto you in Sikiliza is sit down and listen to each other and things will work out. That's about Sikiliza.
Okay, beautiful song over there. But now I've noticed something about your music, Miriam. Your music handles issues that society is grappling with, issues to do with mental illness, issues to deal with persons living with disabilities. Tell us what inspires you to create this kind of music.
What inspires me is I've grown up with a sister, a very beautiful sister of mine. She's differently abled. She was affected by cerebral malaria at a tender age of 3 years. She was a very normal child, but then after that effect, I have seen the kind of life they live. I have seen the kind of stigma they go through. Despite the fact that us as a family, we have showed her love, we have loved her. My father really tried his best, even took her to school. When she couldn't handle the schools for the normal other people, the other children, they took her to the children with the special needs. And at least we showed her that we care. But to the world out there, a lot usually happens, and we have caused these people a lot of stigma. So I want to be that point of change through my music. I would want to advocate for these people with the different abilities.
And I understand that there are some children that this music that you do is also catering to and has already uplifted.
Oh yes, I have a child. She was abandoned by the father just because she has cerebral palsy. And the unfortunate bit is also the mother was affected. As we speak, these two are not together just because the child had a disability. So she's one of the children that are under my care. And she's a very, very brilliant girl. A point to prove disability is not inability. Then we have another child that we just currently took on. This child, when they gave birth to him, the father immediately refused him. And the father said, I don't give birth to animals just because this boy had a disability. But the good news is this boy was identified by one of our artists that are going to perform on that day, Juliet Meme. Julie Meme really supported me with this boy. He's called Ubc Gmu. He underwent a surgery at Koso Hospital as we speak. He is normalized.
Now, Miriam, let's get into the concert. You have an oncoming concert. Where is it going to be? I'm very psyched about it because you've told me about it, but my viewer doesn't know. So tell us about the concert. Who is coming?
About the concert, I'll be performing live. I'll be doing for you different songs. There's a song I last did here, Kujagana, Kujagana, Kujagana. And you saw all the guys dance to it and they enjoy the music. I have different songs that I'll be doing. Kujagana is a wedding kind of celebrational song. The concert is on 1st November, which is next week on Friday. So I'll be performing different songs of mine, and I'll be having artists like Happy Chaze. I'll be having artists like Rockamili, for those who know him. I'll be having Immaculate at Haire, Ken Roy of Humura, the last one you had last week here. And Ngoma, Joseph Ngoma, the gospel artist, will be coming. It's going to be at Motive in Bugolobi, Motive Creations. You can call it Motive Innovations. And among the people that will be having, we have Lubogo, Mrs. Lubogo. Mrs. Lubogo is going to inspire the people out there that think disability is a problem. She's a victim of cerebral palsy, but as we speak, she's a teacher. Yeah, she did not allow her disability hinder her from being a better person. She's a very potential person. We have Miss Kayla. She's called Miss Michaela Amato. She's the little Miss Global. She's coming to inspire children out there and tell them that through their passion, they can achieve their purpose. Yes, she has used her beauty and modeling to inspire children out there. She actually has a foundation and she's taking care of some children because of her talent. So she's coming to inspire them. Hey, I have Dinah Vance. Dinah Vance is Mami Kayla. She's a designer. She's Mami Kayla, that child that was affected after the car incident. You must have heard of it. She's an inspiration to mothers out there that despite the children's disabilities, they can always look into the different abilities and take good care of their children no matter what they have turned into. She's coming to inspire mothers out there. And then we also have the queens in the house. We are going to have Queen Ibarunji Ann. She's Miss Popularity, Miss Tourism Uganda 2024-2025. We are going to have Queen Elizabeth, Miss Tourism Home City and Miss Conservation. We are going to have Queen Ruth, Miss Uganda Finalist 2024-2025. They're coming to support the corporate social responsibility. They're giving it an appearance.
Amazing guests that that she will be having. Among them, I've had dinner events. We all know the story of Kayla, who was locked in a car and she lost oxygen to her brain, but today she still lives, even after doctors said that she could probably not be able to function in a normal way. So I appreciate you for the work that you do, Miriam, and what's your last message to Ugandans as we close?
My last message to Ugandans is if you can give a helping hand, if God has given you chance to be in position to give a helping hand out there, this event that I'm having, it is not for me. The event that we are doing, the proceeds will be going to the children that we support. Some of these children are semi-orphaned, some of these children are total orphans.
How much is the event?
The tickets go for 30,000 for bronze, and then we have VIP at 80,000. Then we have a table at 500 and 1.5. And then you can also support this event by partnering with us. I know it's a short period, but still you can come through and support. They can support by sponsoring one of the children. We have several. I have 13 children in the troop. Then I have 7 that I'm paying for. And then I have a group that I've not talking about.
Miriam, we've run out of time.
All right.
We've run out
I
of
love
time,
you all,
but,
and I welcome you on the 1st of November. Come on Friday next week. Come support the cause. Let's do this together. We can make a difference together.
Well, we can make a difference together. Yes. That I agree. And this is where our conversation will end. Good Morning Uganda continues though, because we have sports updates coming your way. Stay tuned.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.